Hello everyone and welcome back to another video of mine. This time I'm back with Heaven's Secret Requiem Season 1 Episode 4. I have the feeling we just found out that CAIN and I were together, and after we lost our memories, CAIN is desperately trying to have us get our memories back. Perhaps we had a wild love story and now we don't remember, and now he's depressed because of it. How will we know? But I'm intrigued to know what this is about. I just thought it was insanely hilarious that she thought she had to do some kind of parkour instead of just waiting until this man is just out of the building because of all the things that he needs to do. Like, what do we care? But we will see. The past is an unexpected guest that catches up to you when you least expect it. Heaven's Secret Requiem, Episode 4, Anamnesis. Warning, this episode contains a scene involving the non-consensual administration of drugs. Ooh, okay. I squeezed the papers with shaking hands so hard that they almost crumbled. Staring blankly in front of me, I set the documents onto the floor. There's another survivor. My thoughts raced at breakneck speed. Who? When? How? Oh, we pissed. We are so pissed. I looked at the sheets again, rereading the lines over and over. To be quite honest, I understand that she's pissed. She's like, I'm being held a prisoner here. They're making me feel that I'm the only survivor, and that's why I'm so dire to their cause that they won't let me leave. I don't have any free will here. They're actually keeping me here hostage. They don't trust me. They have people hold eyes on me. And now I find out that there's another one there. Just like Dimitri said, the squad was investigating what happened to the base before they found me. This folder contains a bunch of data about the building structure, the number of employees, and so on. But that's not really relevant. Just as simple as the facts. Where is the latest information? Pushing the documents aside, I stood and began rummaging through the desk's drawers. Inside were notes, this time handwritten. I took them all out and turned to the window. The base sank underground as a result of a collapse, but the rift's shape, occurrence, and structure are unnatural. The destruction is akin to a fracture in the Earth's crust. The depth is unknown. Exploration from within is problematic, as the site cannot be reached due to the creatures inhabiting the area. Right, the abominations. There were no warning signs preceding the collapse. It was likely caused by an outside influence. Greg's name is listed here. He did this analysis. I thought it all over, biting the inside of my cheek. A rift appeared exactly where the base was, and now the place is filled with spawn. And even the immortals don't know what happened. I actually thought in episode 1 that he was talking to a demon. Like, we had that small moment where we remembered something. Like the old leader that we were working for at the base, he closed his office door and he started to talk to someone. And then he started to yell in agony. And that's how the episode ended. So maybe that was us remembering how all those demon spawns suddenly appeared. And now that place is filled with spawn, and even the immortals don't know what happened. This is also strange. What's worse is that none of this explains what happened to me. Next, I found some old notes. I went through them too, just in case. I didn't want to accidentally miss something important. But they were only about the climate. The cataclysms had caused devastating damage to the planet, leading to changes all over the world. Is this really all there is? There has to be more information somewhere. An anxious feeling ate at me from the inside. It slowly twisted everything into a tight knot, a sticky fear. It enveloped me so tightly that every breath I drew hurt. Tonight the moon was especially bright. Its glow cast the office in black and white, merging everything into a single distinct shadow. I put the papers back, returned the folders to their place, and looked around. Maybe the rest of the notes just aren't here. I pulled the general's chair back and sat down, lost in thought, as I ran my hand along the edge of the table. Huh? On the thin surface of the desk was a hole. barely noticeable. A hidden compartment. Maybe I can find the key? I should look for it in the boxes on the desk under the lamp. And not under the lamp. This reminds me of Hotel 13. Like for the Germans here. Hotel 13. Look for that show. That show was amazing. I loved it. I don't know. Under the lamp. They took it from Hotel 13, ladies and gentlemen. I love it. I picked up the lamp. Beneath it was a small flat key. You found the key on the first try. I just know. I'm just that good. As soon as I inserted it into the hole, there was an audible click and a thin drawer slid outward. Inside there was only a small pack of spare razor blades. Why would he need razor blades? He's like, if they disappoint me, I'm just gonna shredder them. Damn. I turned it around in my hands in disappointment. I had hoped for something more interesting, but the blades didn't even look like they were being used. There aren't many blades left. Well, maybe they'll come in handy. I turned to let the moonlight illuminate the entire drawer. At the very back, I noticed a small piece of paper that I would have missed otherwise. But my hand couldn't reach that far inside, so I had to find something that could. Try to get it out. Like Stretch Girl, I don't know. You're very thin. Like reach in, I don't know. Looks like a flyer. I pulled out the paper and turned back to the window, staring at the unusual image. Huh? Damn. What is that? A demon hunter? It wasn't clear if this was a wanted or missing person poster. I had the feeling that even the creator didn't know what message they wanted to convey. The face of the person on this flyer was hidden under a mask that resembled the character of a parrot. But the drawing showed a vague image that blended with the background, and making out the finer details was impossible. The hunter's silhouette was dramatically depicted, as if he were spinning between drops of blood suspended in the air. A sad, rejected pirate. Or a harlequin, maybe? Oh, not the movie, oh god. The demon hunter's mask intrigued you. I thought it over as I stared at the strange image. For some strange reason, it had captured my attention. The mystery behind the character's mask intrigued me. Instead of the people's favorite trickster, two sad smudges peered out from the paper. Suddenly, snow fell from the roof past the window. The noise snapped me back to reality. I put the strange ad back and closed the drawer, clutching the pack of razor blades. I have to get out of here before they start looking for me. I walked toward the door but stopped in the middle of the room again, taking a quick look around. I'm sorry, I think it's hilarious that they keep on making her know that she's being followed and watched at all times. And then she's capable to look through everything without anyone knowing where she is. Like, this is so funny to me. The office looked the same as always. Almost. A shadow that wasn't there before stretched from the doorway, barely noticeable. Huh? Oh my gosh. Some bitch is gonna preach to us. I wasn't alone. Turning my head took a great effort. Holding my breath, I peered into the darkness. The shadow took a step toward me. Slowly, without taking my eyes off the door, I backed away. I tripped and fell. Oh my god, this woman, she can't do shit. She can't even walk straight. I mean, that's how it be sometimes. Like, there are times where I can't even walk straight. I just want to go straight to bed. I hate getting up in the morning, and I have to get up in the morning. Literally, I need an hour to get to work, and I have to work for 8.5 hours a day. I tripped and fell when I hit a box with my foot, but kept crawling back from the approaching darkness. Not her saying, please don't eat me, slowly crawling back, like that moment from Together, for the people that actually know Together, like the Thai BL. Oh god. Not her slowly walking back, please don't eat me, looking like a spider. I stopped only when my back met the cold wall behind me. Come on, allow it to literally consume you. Allow it to feed on your soul. Why else? Great! The little bitch, the one we all hate, suddenly decided to make an appearance. Great. Illuminated by the bright moonlight, Dimitri stood in front of me. Who can kill this man? Like, honestly, I just want him to be killed. This man is literally always there, always on my dick, always in the middle. And I think one of the most horrible things is when I'm being forced to stay in one place is one thing, but literally living in constant fear in a place that's even worse. Like, I live in constant fear that that person that I can stand, the person that intimidates me, comes around and literally bites me in the ass. Like, that's not a good way to live. I clutched a pack of razor blades in my fist, moving it behind my back. Maybe he hasn't noticed it yet. He towered over me, looking down with fierce eyes. I literally would have kicked him in the balls. Like, what do you think you're doing coming so close to me? Who are you, my father? The fact that you think that you can move closer to me, I mean, theoretically speaking, we shouldn't have gone into this man's office without this man knowing or without this man being present. But considering the fact that you're keeping me a hostage and you won't tell me shit, and you just keep on letting me know that I'm a prisoner that needs to be watched, you can't be surprised if I start just looking around because I'm extremely bored. And I'm trying to find ways to escape from this hellhole. An oppressive atmosphere filled the office. Not just that, girl. What are you doing in here? I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. He leaned down closer. Sir, personal space. This has also to do with consent. Like, this man does not even know the basic human rights, y'all. You don't get closer to someone if they don't truly show you that they are fine with you moving into their personal space. It's, in my eyes, like 5 feet distance. The closer you get, the more you approach someone's personal space. And there are people in general that aren't okay with touching and everything, like, that's fine. But even a person that is fine with touching, you need to know boundaries. My boundaries are like between me and you, 5 feet distance, okay? The more I like you, the more I'm fine with you, the more I allow you to move closer to my inner circle. I allow you to step into my personal space. And sooner or later, I'm even fine with you being like just 5 centimeters away from my face. Like, that has to do with boundaries and with respect. I respect you enough not to get too close to you. And this man actually towering over us in hope that he can intimidate us? No. Like, that's a no. Y'all, I can't stand this man. I really cannot. Like, not even Malbonte was that shitty. Like, in season 3, this man this man did choke us, but this man didn't try to, like, intimidate us by saying anything. This man, like, tried it with reasoning, you know? This man just thinks he can intimidate us, make us tremble in fear, and he hopes that he can get answers out of us. Like, this is just being a bitch. Literally, there is nothing diplomatic in this man, and this man is supposed to be the leader of the place. Y'all, I just want to get rid of him. Can someone get this bitch off my screen? I can't stand him. A lot of people were like praising this man's muscles and everything. This bitch needs to leave. Can we get this bitch off my screen? Like, this is not even that nice bitch. You all know I just love to use the word bitch. But that's more like me cheering, you know, for a character, for a person. This man is a negative bitch. And a negative bitch is a little piece of shit. Okay? This man needs to leave. He needs to leave me be. Show me what's in your hand. No. Don't obey. Obey. Respond angrily. Oh, God. If I don't obey, that means this is a romantic option, and I don't want to pay gems for this man. I don't know. I don't want to take romantic note. No. Respond angrily. No. You have no right to boss me around. I'm a Siberia employee. And I never wanted to be part of your squad, period. But me! Siberia's gone. And I'm your general. Says who? Says you? When did I ever agree to be part of your squad? You forced me. You forced me to stay here without asking if I'm okay with it. This is actually you violating my rights of freedom. Every single human being has the right to live freely. And he can't even allow us that simple human right. This bitch needs to leave. Before you continue to spout nonsense, I'd advise you to reconsider your position. What kind of position are you then? You're the position where my foot will land, sir. Literally on the ground. I'm about to step on you and clean my boots in your face. Like, get away. Who do you think you are? This man literally believes that he can do whatever he says just because he's the leader of that place. I'm asking myself how he got that high position, that people actually listen to him. This man does not seem to be capable to be a good leader. The man forcefully pried open my fingers, revealing the crumpled pack of razors. He took it and moved back. He's a bitch.
What exactly were you looking for in here?
You could have been hiding something. I had to check for my own safety. And for good reason. Because you actually were. I'm not the only survivor. The general went around the desk and sat down in his chair, tiredly stretching his neck. You are making me tired every time I see you, sir. It's mutual. The hatred is mutual. It seemed he was in no mood for such a tense conversation. I'm not in a mood for this bitch to be in my life. He needs to leave. Like, are we seeing the way he behaves? Like, not even, like I said, I will have to use Malbonte because he was like the biggest enemy that we had. You know? Like the man that actually had the capability of be one of the worst enemies, you know? And not even he gave me the creeps as much as this man over here. Like, my Bonte never really gave me the creeps because, you know, he was fine and everything. But the only thing that this man did do, he handcuffed us, you know? And left us like in the small part. I don't know where he put us in season 3 of Heaven's Secret, but it was like, I don't know, some kind of barn or something where prisoners were held. But he didn't actually psychologically torment us nor nothing. When he saw that we crumbled down, he took us to his bedroom and he had someone take care of us. This man actually understood the assignment of being a decent human being. His pure heart literally shone out. What is this bitch giving me? Nothing.
No, I mentioned that we came from a new base founded in Siberia's place after it was lost. It's called Adam, and it was founded by Professor Donovan, based on old research.
Donovan? So she's alive? And she founded a new base? The memory of her arrogant face sent shivers through me. I don't remember her ever responding to a single one of my greetings the whole time we worked together. I recall Donovan being tall, severe, and abrasive. Her lips were always set into a frown, emphasizing her permanent dissatisfaction with everyone around her. Like I said, it's mutual, bitch. She did her job well, but had forced her way into every project on the base, making our work miserable with her criticism and manipulative behavior. And we have another one in front of us. We have another Donovan in front of us. Great. And trying to force her own vision on everyone else, just like this bitch in front of us. But no one ever went against her. She knew how to make others fear and listen to her. And besides, every project she had always ended in success.
The professor's only considered a survivor in technical terms. In truth, she had simply left the base an hour before the collapse.
So she knew. Of course, she had permission to leave the grounds. I saw her with General Lloyd occasionally. They seemed quite close.
Do you know her?
I doubt she even knows my name. Dimitri nodded, looking at me from under his brows. Dark circles were visible under his eyes, and I'm supposed to care. He seemed to want to end this conversation as quickly as possible. Great. And never ever try to make a conversation with me again. Okay?
Do you have anything else to say? I have other things to deal with.
With your horrible personality? Or with my kick in your ass? I shook my head. I had a lot of questions, but couldn't put any of them into words.
Then you can go.
I go when I want to.
And you try to get to the estate this time.
Little bitch. This man just needs to leave. As I walked down the stairs, there were only one thought running through my mind. That can't be it. It was a rather persistent thought. They want me to believe everything is fine and that there's nothing to fear, but none of this makes sense. I don't trust him, and that's why I broke into his office. It shouldn't be any different on their side. I'll just have to wait and see what their next move is, if there even is one. Girl, I would literally leave. I'm outside right now. I would literally just pack my shit and leave. I mean, she doesn't have anything. Sorry. but I would literally just pack my things and leave. Like, there is nothing there for us. They're not treating us well in that place. Let's just leave. The only reason that we're actually staying around is because of our fine-ass CAIN. Anxiety settled inside me and I started to doubt everything. I walked for a while along the snowy night road when something made me turn around. Snowflakes fell to the ground, illuminated by the soft street light. Beyond them I saw a window covered in frost and a dark silhouette behind the glass. Dimitri was watching me intently. Can we just get a rifle? I'm sorry, I'm serious. Get a rifle. Shoot this man. This man. He's a creep, y'all. Like, imagine you're going outside for a few seconds and this man literally cowering somewhere in the corner. There's just a small moment where he can look outside, and that's small thing where he can see through. He's using that to watch us. This man is creepy. I wouldn't be surprised if this man had a telescope to watch us. I wouldn't be surprised. He needs to leave, like, goddamn. I couldn't sleep again that night. I hadn't seen Anna since the morning, and even now she wasn't in the room. Approaching the window, I peered into the darkness. Donovan is alive. Surprisingly, knowing this made being here more bearable. The general hid this information from me. As long as I'm the only one in the dark, I'm easy to manipulate. The squad can tell me anything and I'll just have to believe it because I don't have any other sources of information. The windows overlooked the mountain, but the sides several tiny lights from low houses faintly flickered. The locals probably know what happened to Siberia. Rotkov was here before the base construction, and it's still here after the collapse. If everything the squad told me could be confirmed by someone else, it'd be easier to trust them. I wiped the frost from the window with my hand, rubbing off the delicate patterns from the glass. The lights on the street and in houses glowed brighter. I need to talk to someone in town without anyone from the squad around. I want to make sure that Dimitri and the others aren't lying about anything else, or that they don't have me completely trapped in their web of lies. Ooh, I love her. She's like, I don't buy shit you're telling me. I awoke in the same empty room. Either Anna still hadn't returned or she had left early without waking me. I washed my face with cold water and put on some clean clothes. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, these are nice outfits. God damn. I love it. Yes. Yes. I don't know. Yes, come on. Let's have a little curls. Thanks. Cheerful voices came from the main hall, where several squad members were busy in a lively discussion. This calmed the anxiety inside me a little bit. Despite what happened last night, it was business as usual today. I was walking along the corridor when I heard Greg's friendly voice from the crowd. One of the only people that I'm always happy to see. Aww. But as soon as I appeared in the doorway, he fell silent and turned very slightly away. Oh gosh. What did Dimitri say? Uh-huh. Tension immediately filled the room. Several people shot me cold looks and lowered their voices, speaking in hushed tones. See? What did this bitch say? He's like, yeah, I can't be trusted because I was in this man's office. What's all this about? I hesitated for a moment and then walked past them to the door, but no one reacted. I wasn't stopped or trailed. Even Greg only followed me with his gaze slowly. Putting my hand on the handle, I hesitated. Something's changed. They're looking at me differently. I need to be more careful. Should I hold off on going to the city? And what if everything does go back to normal? Will I get another chance to go somewhere alone like this? No, I have to go. I opened the door and left the estate. We could care less. Like, if you're easily manipulated by this son of a bitch, then that's not my fault. Like, grow a backbone or don't. Like, I can't be responsible for that. But I will not add into your strange thoughts. There wasn't a single person in the yard. The fresh snow that had gathered overnight was still largely untouched, so moving through it was exhausting. Having passed the gates of the estate, I went behind the houses on the main square to lower my chances of running into someone from the squad. Last night I had come up with a plan. I remembered seeing several old, dilapidated workshops in the quarter where Anna and I had met up with Greg. They might have been closed for a long time, but with luck, I'd be able to find an artisan and convince them to talk. Winding between the low buildings, I eventually found the right street. It seemed that most of the block was a residential area. A few people passed by wearing gloomy expressions. I walked between the rickety buildings, occasionally glancing into the boarded-up windows of the old stores and workshops. Nearly all of them were empty. The few times I came across someone, they'd immediately refuse to speak, not even letting me get a word in. They probably thought I was some kind of beggar. Leaving one of the houses, I sighed, peering into the street stretching into the distance.
What the hell are you standing around here for?
A sudden voice from behind startled me. It belonged to the artisan whose house I had just passed. He stepped closer, eyes flashing with anger.
Hanging around here waiting for the right moment. If you so much as stick your nose in my home, I'll break your hands. I see right through your kind.
What is my kind? Me. Surprise gave way to irritation. I didn't want to get into an argument, so I simply shot him a cold look and stepped aside, turning to leave.
Ashamed of yourself, huh?
No, I'm ashamed that I have to listen to bullshit like you. He grabbed my shoulder aggressively, and the pain forced me to reluctantly turn back around. Sir, hands off the property! The unpleasant man had already opened his wrinkled mouth to spew more suspicions at me when he was suddenly taken aback, peering past me. I heard someone approach from behind, blocking out the light. The stranger hid me in the shadows as if to protect me. Is it my man? He deliberately kept out of sight as if he wanted to avoid being recognized. The voice behind me spoke, his tone commanding.
Harassing people again, are we? You need to be more polite as others.
Unquestioningly obeying the voice, the artisan released me. Then he grew embarrassed and, mumbling some barely intelligible apology, hurried back into his house. No, this is something I can't... No, that's something I don't like. This reminds me when I was in Italy, the province of Italy where I come from. Women have no right to say anything and only the men have a voice. And I saw this when I was very young. I think I was 9 years old, 10 years old. I was with my family in Italy and I was sitting there all calmly and my aunt put an umbrella on the beach and there was this disgusting old man. I mean, he wasn't old. He was like, I don't know, 45, 50 years old. And he insulted her and he said that she took his spot. And he literally ripped the umbrella that she put into the sand out and he threw the umbrella away. It almost hit her. And she was like, I was here first. And the man kept on saying, no, he was here first. My aunt's husband, my uncle, went in between them and he was like, no, we actually were here first. And he was like, oh, really? Sorry. As in, women have no fucking right. Now, this scene literally reminds me of that moment of my memory. This man insulting us, and no matter how hard we're trying to avoid it, this man keeps on dragging us back into this useless conversation, this useless banter, and then there comes a fine-ass man from behind us, and he's like, leave it be, and he's like, fine, okay, I'm sorry. No! The shadow behind me began to back away, and I hastily turned, trying to catch a glimpse of the stranger. Who are you? Ma'am? But there was no one there. Oh no. Oh no. No. Is this the person that is haunting us in our nightmares? We keep on having these strange nightmares where we have the feeling that someone is following us or watching us. Was this the shadow of the person that is haunting us in our dreams? Oh no! Peering around in confusion, I spotted what looked like someone's coat disappearing through a set of heavy doors that were nearly shut. Hurrying after it, I slipped inside and found myself in a strange half-empty room. My mysterious savior had disappeared into thin air. Instead, I saw a woman dressed in what looked like shaman's clothing. The room's deco suited her. There was almost no furniture, save for a couple of taxidermied animals hanging on the wall, some strange paintings, and framed photographs covered in dust. Did you see a man in a coat come through here?
No, but Alkai can tell your lordship about a man.
Only now did I notice the short curtains that hung on the window of the front door. So that's what I saw, not a jacket at all then.
Come in. I see you're lost. I need help. The spirits will show Alkai the way, and she will tell you.
She sat down at the table and pointedly straightened out the edges of the tablecloth. Oh my god. She's eager to talk. This is much better than if I just started asking a bunch of questions. I should try talking to her some more. Small, thin bones were laid in front of her. They looked so fragile it felt like one wrong move might break them. Some were carved with runes that I couldn't recognize. Maybe it's something local? I sat down at the table.
What worries you?
The woman had an unusual accent. General Lloyd once mentioned the community found in the forest not far from the base. They were the indigenous people of the lands. However, as with other places, the small tribes slowly had died out, and their remnants wandered off to different cities where life still thrived. I want to know what happened to me. Do you know something about the military squad that settled in the city not so long ago? The shaman fidgeted with the bones, rubbed them, and scattered them across the tablecloth. Then she collected them in a pile and repeated the process, watching the positions they landed on.
The military are people of death. Bad.
Okay. I heard there's a rift near the city, and there are creatures there. She nodded energetically, and then she smacked her lips, staring at me as she continued to rub the bones. But she didn't elaborate any further, pretending not to understand the language all that well. I leaned in closer. I had to find the right way to approach the topic. Are you fortune-telling?
Guy is fortune-telling.
She took my hand and placed a bone in my palm, closing my hand and holding it with hers. To be quite honest, I've never done fortune-telling. I know there are a lot of tents somewhere in small districts, but yeah, no. I would feel so out of place there. Like, there are people that are kind of like scared of stuff like that, and I would be more petrified because like I said so many times what my opinion is about religion and everything, but in my eyes, like, I fear higher powers because I believe in higher powers. I believe that there are beings more powerful than us, and I do believe that there is God and that there is a devil. I would be petrified to go to a fortune-telling store. Like, they be doing all of that dark magic and everything. Like, no, that wouldn't be something for me. I would be scared out of my mind. Then she started singing in a guttural voice, barely opening her lips, powerful, strong, intoxicating. Y'all, goodbye. The shaman threw the bones on the table and squeezed my hand harder, almost squealing from the vision that came to her. Huh? Can I leave? Like, that's... Nah. She started to dance to the beat of her own rhythm, still chanting, occasionally inserting words in the middle of her howls.
The city will cry, tragedy will come, across in the sky to the dead and the death.
The air in the room gradually started to thicken. Somehow the light from the windows facing the street grew distant. Everything around me plunged into twilight, and my consciousness, following the measured swaying of the shaman, succumbed to her mood. Oh my god. Is she actually capable to, like, oh no, y'all, we committed a huge ass mistake by coming here and allowing her to read our palm. Like, she's dragging us into the abyss. Then the woman opened her eyes wide, looking trapped inside an indescribable nightmare, but then returned to reality again, struggling to catch her breath. Her eyes reddened and veins swelled on her hands. I was overcome with a bad feeling. Me! Like, let's leave. But she actually gives off the feelings of like someone, she reads you and there comes like something positive, everything is fine. But if you actually cause me pain, she's like the person that would like keep you hostage in order to save everyone else the misfortune that you could bring upon everyone on this earth. I tried to pull my hand back, wanting to get away from what was happening, but the shaman held me tight. What the hell is going on? She looked angry. Her yellow teeth rubbed against each other, creaking horribly. She pulled out thin, truculent needles of different sizes from under the tablecloth, which turned out to be sharpened fish bones. I glanced at them warily. She took one of them and raised her hand, moving to scratch something into my skin. Hands off! Without resisting, I waited for her to continue. I didn't care about the pain. Actually, I was slightly intrigued by what the sensation would feel like. Y'all, we are psychologically unstable. She's like, I'm waiting for someone to slash my skin. What is wrong with her? I think I pinpointed or tiptoed around it. I was gravely psychologically ill in the past. Like, I'm mostly through it now. There are some times where I don't feel like my best. Like when I wrote this message in my community where I was like, I need a few days off because I can't anymore. I need a break. This is too much for me. But there are people that can deal with all that psychological pain, like a psychological pain that brings you that down on your knees, that on your wits' ends, that you psychologically are that done with life that you want to kill yourself. There are people that can deal with it and they hang themselves, like they kill themselves. And there are other people that just start slashing their skin, like they start to cut themselves. And I never wanted to do that. Like, maybe I'm just not the person to do that, or something that my friends told me, like my biggest support systems, including a lot of you from the comment section. They told me I was strong enough not to do it. Like, there are people that can't deal with that psychological pain and they start to cut themselves because they don't know how to deal with the pain. The pain is that powerful inside that it becomes physical, and they hope that if they cut themselves that they can kind of like escape the psychological pain, which they can't, but they hope that if they cause themselves physical pain that the psychological pain will subside, but it won't. But like I said, I never cut myself because I just didn't want to. I wanted to believe that better days will come. And I never allowed life to crush my spirit or like the toxic people in my life. I wanted to fight. I wanted to continue to live. I wanted to believe that there is more out there for me. And so I made it. This woman actually waiting to be slashed in her arm or in her hand. Like, what's wrong with her? I sat still watching as the white needle slowly pierced me, how the thin bones sunk deeper. What am I doing? Me! Or, hold up. We had like this small narration where we were told that our character kind of feels herself slipping alongside the medium in front of her. Maybe it's the medium kind of like subduing her subconsciousness and she's like, you're remaining still until I'm done with you. If that's a thing, then I have to apologize to her. Because like I said, a higher power, you can't do anything against a higher power. Suddenly my own behavior felt strange to me. Yes, okay, yep, I have to apologize. I looked around in confusion. What am I doing here? Regretting coming inside, I tried to pull my hand away, confident that I had enough strength to overpower the old woman. But it was to no avail. Her grip felt like steel as she looked at me with bloodshot eyes. Can we just like kick her or something? A shadow cast by a pair of deer antlers on the wall behind her gradually grew bigger. I wasn't sure if the taxidermed animal hanging behind the shaman could even cast such dark silhouette. Oh my god, she stuck the bone into my hand. I twitched, but not from pain. This was getting out of control, and I wanted to escape this madness quickly. Finding the shaman's leg under the table, I kicked it with all my strength. Her expression changed, and she unclenched her sinewy fingers.
Hey, damn you.
No, leave. She shook deep in a trance. Her pupils darted all over the room as she started foaming at the mouth. I recoiled in disgust. Same, girl. Do I just run away? What if she needs help? A girl. If you don't leave, she's gonna run after you to finish what she started. Like, this is possession shit. This is some possession. I feel like she's possessed by some evil spirits and they wanted to, like, carve something into your palm and they will not release their grip on her until they are done with you. Like, until they finish what they started. Like, that's a horrible existence for her, but I wouldn't allow someone to, like, cut something into my arm. Like, sorry. I rubbed my injured hand. She jabbed me with a bone. She can die here for all I care. Damn. But to be quite honest, I would feel like that. And yet walk out as though everything is fine. Try to bring her to her senses. Hurry to leave. Call out to someone on the street. Like, I wouldn't want to leave her there. I rushed outside and tried to grab the attention of anyone passing by. Help, this woman isn't feeling well. Gradually, people gathered around.
She's choking. There's something in her throat. A fish bone or something. Oh, God, get it out.
The shaman has a chance to survive. All right. Taking the opportunity, I blended in with the crowd and hurried away from the street. Like, I wouldn't want a death on my conscience. Like, no. And besides, if she was possessed, it wasn't her fault that she wanted to pierce us with the bone. The squad definitely won't forgive me for causing a scene among the locals. Rotkov hasn't accepted me with open arms. I wanted to get answers, but this incident unsettled me. The people in this city are so shattered with the cold that is coming out of them. Having left at ill-fated quarter, I had noticed that I had entered the main square. Huh? I had to hastily stop and duck around the corner as Anna and Greg passed by. They were arguing about something. Should I just approach them? Anna seemed on edge and she didn't hide it. Whatever they were discussing seemed important.
Let's see what the rest of the squad says about that. Not everyone has to know about it.
What are they talking about? Approaching them now wasn't the best idea, so I followed slowly at a safe distance, keeping them in my sight. Eventually, we left the square. After passing a few more small quarters, Anna and Greg went around the corner of one of the houses. Dusk had fallen on the city. Dim lighting was already visible in some windows. I stopped at the corner of the building they turned at. There was no light on the street ahead, and it was tough to see what was going on. Afraid of losing sight of them, I cautiously peeked around. Anna and Greg had joined up with the rest of the squad and stood before the general. Oh, get this bitch out of my sight. No, thank you. They got it at the dead end, next to an abandoned house with broadened windows and a collapsed roof. A few people were absent from the squad, including the immortals. Why are they here? My anxiety grew. The general had gathered them outside the estate. This was another bad sign, reinforcing the strange feeling I had been having since yesterday. I pressed against the wall to avoid being spotted, listening very carefully.
We want to round the area again.
He threw several devices onto the snow that looked like small spotlights.
Someone just labeled the traps.
Dimitri picked up the pieces of bent iron and looked at them over carefully.
This was done by humans.
The general sighed and closed his eyes. He looked so tired, like he hadn't slept a wink last night. Not my problem.
As I thought, we have two options. Either the locals are lying, or one of us is responsible. And we need to find out who it is, quickly.
Dimitri nodded to someone, and a figure emerged from the crowd. I thought that the rest of the squad would begin to move out, so I carefully backed away, wanting to leave unnoticed. The snow crunched under my foot. I froze, wondering if I should start running when someone appeared next to me.
I knew it was you.
He had clearly noticed me early and managed to go around the house. A slight smile touched Kira's lips, one that I found strange and off-putting.
Nick probably found out who it was. And you just can't sit still. Running off with such terrible timing just ends up making you look more suspicious.
Before I could follow that was happening, I felt something piercing in my neck. Oh, hell no! She did not actually sedate my ass. No, She did not actually, this is actually abusement, y'all. We do be realizing that, right? This is abusement. You are psychologically tormenting me by keeping me a prisoner, and now you're also physically assaulting me. This is abusement. I felt something prick in my neck, and then a sudden feeling of weakness overcame me. Dizzy, I fell sluggishly into Kira's arms. Kira is the first one to die by my hand, y'all.
Is it just us here?
Yes, the estate is empty. I checked all the rooms. I shouldn't have listened to you. This method is old and barbaric.
Oh, really? No. You and Anna are close, so she doesn't want to go ahead with the plan. Next time, she won't be silent. Oh, great. At least we're close to Anna.
That sounds great, but let me remind you that you set up the IV.
Nice! We're sedated! I slowly regained consciousness, coming out of the dark haze and closer to the voices. Y'all, the first chance I get to kill them, I will. We do realizing what's going on right now, right? They sedated us. And the first chance they get, if they don't get the answers that we want, they can put anything inside of us. We're connected to an IV. They can put in sleeping draft, they can put in drugs, whatever they want. I don't know what chemical it is, but they use it to kill people. My awareness of everything was shaky, somewhere between dreaming and wakefulness, in some strange borderline state of consciousness. The words were barely audible, not intended for my ears, but I still heard them.
If Kid injected the caffeine about half an hour ago, the injection is starting to take effect.
I wanted to reach for my head, but something pulled my arm back. A needle was stuck into my arm, connected to a thin tube that led down to an IV.
What is this?
Gradually, my vision became clearer, and the question I'd asked no one received a rather straightforward answer.
Sedimento. It'll help you relax.
Relax? Bitch!
Don't worry, it's a medically induced intoxication, something like regular anesthesia.
That's not worth me less, bitch. She's just as bad because she went along with it. I see, so they've made their move. I recall this method from Siberia. I sighed and leaned back in the chair they had put me in. They want to use drugs to interrogate me. Great. What did I say? No, y'all, I don't want to continue playing. This is some huge-ass bullshit. You keep me hostage, you keep information away from me that could actually be necessary for me to continue to live, and then I'm the one being interrogated and put into a chair. They are all bad. Everyone is just as bad as the other one. The patient is put into a state of half-sleep where their psychological barriers fall away and they are stripped of fear and shame. In this state, it became easier to identify traumatic events in a person's life.
You will go into a trance, maybe leave and remember what happened to you, and be able to answer questions honestly. I will be conducting the session, is that clear?
You all should die. You all should die. This is abusement. They are actually using drugs on us in order to interrogate us. This is inhuman. The dim light of the living room made me drowsy. I felt the injection's effects getting stronger. Anna was sitting across from me, leaning back and watching me with her legs crossed. Her gaze was cold, tenacious, and focused. By the fireplace was Dimitri standing silent with his arms folded over his chest. He kept looking at me from under his brows. Let me spit on him. And the farthest away in the shadows was Greg. I thought you were different.
How are you feeling?
Why should I answer calmly? I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck. Wonderful. And I ignored my words, focused only on my reaction. She seemed to conclude that everything was fine. My body started to relax. I sank into the chair and then plunged into the dark chambers of my consciousness.
Count down from 10. Out loud.
And why the fuck would I do that? Y'all, I hate everything that's going on right now. At this point, I don't even know if I want to continue next episode. Because, I've played a lot of games, but if there's something that I don't like in any kind of storyline, it's this. You should know some boundaries. This is inhuman. and I hate every second of it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4. I found myself on an old playground. Fog covered everything around me. Thick and enveloping, it made the day feel like night. The weather was overcast, heavy clouds hid behind the white haze, and the wet earth squished underfoot, not yet dry from the rain. The air in the playground felt almost rarefied, and all around me was a tense, deafening silence. Dry tree trunks creaked from the breeze. The clouds barely visible behind the dense haze suggested an incoming downpour that would hammer the fog to the ground. I remember this place. Anna's voice came from somewhere in the distance. Or maybe it isn't Anna? Who is Anna anyway?
Let's start with some simple questions. What was your childhood like?
This is actually y'all. Don't talk to me. The murky shape of a girl sitting on a swing appeared on the playground. I also loved swinging here.
Where is here? What kind of place are you seeing?
A playground not far from our house.
And what were you doing there?
I was waiting for a long time, as always.
For who?
My mom. If I didn't come home, she would come out to look for me. I felt like my mother was about to emerge from behind the trees the way she used to in my childhood. My body tensed, sweat beaded on my forehead, and it became harder to breathe.
What did you just feel?
Fear. She will be very unhappy and everyone will see her screaming. My tongue moved against my will, although in that moment the very idea of having a will at all had lost all meaning. I was carried further and further along the chain of my thoughts. She was often unhappy even when I was very little. My birth was unplanned. She got pregnant late by accident. I was born because of a doctor's recommendation, not because my parents sincerely wanted to have a child. As she wasn't sure she could get pregnant again at her age, my mother decided to keep me. But it was a difficult birth too, so much so that my mother couldn't even bear to look at me. But I remember the light, warm and shimmering, and screams of the other babies. Next, Anna asked for more details about my family. We were an ordinary family. Keeping up appearances was important to my parents. When you work in a research center, you need to maintain your image in front of your colleagues. My father often called his office a pit of venomous snakes, so we played the role of a picture-perfect family every day. But in truth, we didn't get along with each other. Our gingerbread house was rotten to the core, covered in mold. About studying.
How did you come to decipher books?
A dark silhouette of a girl suddenly appeared on the bench. She was slowly leafing through a book, reading every page. You have to be exceptional to be worth anything, to impress people, to make them notice you. Next, Anna asked about my work.
How did you get a job at the base?
A new silhouette appeared on the playground. A young girl, leaning against the swing set, enthusiastically studied an old tome. I was interested, extremely interested. Something forbidden, hidden, unsolved by anyone before. It was appealing. It was as if the book had called to me. Nothing. An irritated voice cut through Anna's thorough interrogation. Which one?
None of this is irrelevant. Ask her about the past.
See? Greg is just as bad as Dimitri and Anna. Because they're actually interrogating us. Because with drugs. Like I would kill them. Then I heard them arguing quietly, everything jumbled together, and the words were hard to make out.
We have to be careful. Consciousness is open to us now.
The aggressive whispering made me uneasy. The fog was intensifying. It slowly crept closer, obscuring the outlines of branches, the shapes of the trees, the sky, and the earth. I squirmed in my chair, trying to back away from the creeping haze.
Did you have anything to do with Nick's disappearance?
Oh, you little bitch. Let me kick you in the ass. No, literally, y'all, I don't want to say, let me cut off his dick. But, let me just kick him in the dick. Honestly, stay down for a few hours. What a load of bullshit. I try to figure out who the people are that I'm staying with, and you think I kidnapped or killed your friend. Don't talk to me. And sadly, that's what people do, y'all. We people are very judgmental. So sadly, that's like that with new people arriving, or in general, like in movies. When a new person arrives and someone gets killed, the new person is always the one being picked on. They're like, before you came, everything was fine. You know?
No. What other research did you conduct at the base?
As soon as my thoughts caught up to recent events, something kept me silent.
It's too soon for that. You're ruining it.
Panic shook my consciousness. My body broke out in sweat. Anxiety all around me, inside me. Everything was drowning in it. A terrible sound came closer, like the clanging of heavy chains being dragged across the ground. The noise grew louder. It was everywhere, and there was no escaping it. I couldn't breathe. Something was keeping me from breathing. Several hands wrapped around my neck. What the hell? General Lloyd? I was suffocating, and I didn't have the strength to escape. The haze had turned into a nightmare. Not the oh no! Let me go, I can't breathe! Oh no! Now, considering the fact that they opened our consciousness with those fucking... No, y'all, like, the first chance we get, we are killing all three of them. All three of them. Because, in my eyes, you are worse if you're a bystander. You are worse if you're a bystander. Like, Kira needs to go. We all know that the general needs to go. And Greg now needs to go too. I actually thought he was different. I thought that this man is such a cutie. Now we can see what happens. You trust people too easily and that's what you get. No more romantic choices with him. Like, he can die for all I care. Like, this is ridiculous. This is disgusting. You're actually willing to use a human as an experiment. But their fingers only dug in harder, more painfully. Oh, Father! Suddenly, the phantoms created from the drug-induced trance vanished. Wake up! Wake up! Now that's what you did! Wake up! Path of the whisper of the devil. Oh my god! Let us kill them all. The lights in the hall flickered and suddenly blinked out. Get out of my head! My scar ached. The dull pain was slowly bringing me back to reality. I looked at everyone standing around me with disgust. Same, Queen! That they would stoop to doing such a thing to me made me angry. Anger bubbled and rose from inside me, a consuming wave that drowned out all the other thoughts. I had never felt such a rush before. I hadn't been capable of it. The impulses within me emanated such power that it became clear. But to be quite honest, someone needs to tell me if they actually chose, like, the way of the god, you know? Please tell me if some of you actually were like, it sobered me up. One person should tell me that they weren't mad when they saw this scene. Like, this is inhuman. This is cruelty. This is abusement. And someone actually should tell me that they weren't mad. Like, what is this? If anyone else tries to get into my head, I will destroy them. I understood why they did it. I couldn't even really object to it. Still, my eyes hardened in disgust and hostility. You understood why they did it? No, I don't. There is no reason, literally no reason, to drug someone. No reason. Because this is actually you. This is literally like, I don't know if some of you watched my The Vampire Diaries reaction, episode 3, with Damon coming there and trying to manipulate Elena into wanting to kiss him. That's a no. That's someone literally pushing their own will over you, leaving you defenseless at the mercy of a person that has impure intentions with you. That's a no. No matter what reasons you could possibly have, it does not justify what they're doing right now. They're drugging us in order to get answers that they want. That's a no. They need to go. They looked at me with horror. They better be scared. I'll be coming for all three of you. Let me look for Kira first, because she's the one that actually stuck some kind of bullshit into my neck first to knock me out. As though they saw the face of death itself behind me. Thank you. Woo-hoo! Oh, I am living. I'm living, yes? Let them all know? Let them know? Let them know that I'm coming.
She's in pain.
No, girl, I am past pain. I'm furious. The general spoke for the first time, icing commanding.
Let's continue.
Are we seeing this?
What exactly happened at the base?
I felt all my muscles tense up oddly.
We can't keep doing this.
Girl, you did this.
Anna, sit down and continue.
You haven't gotten close to Dimitri, so his goal is more important than you. I don't need this man on my side, bitches. I'm sorry. I don't need him on my side.
No.
Anna spoke up in your defense. Y'all, like, how do I say this? From one side, I appreciate that she's like, no. From the other side, she's the one that drugged us. Because we heard Greg literally saying it. You were the one that put her onto the machine. You were the one doing that. And she was the one that started to interrogate us. She went along with it, even if she was like, no, I'm sorry, stop. She went along with it. It makes her just as bad as the others. I appreciate from one side that she was like, no, you know what? Like, that's enough. Like, there are a lot of people that need a little more. Like, they need to see more horrible things in order for them to be like, yeah, no, sorry. Like, that's too much. You be doing too much. But it shouldn't be on someone else's suspenses. Like, if you are suffering because of you, and that's when you learn, that's one thing. But if someone else needs to be tortured for you to speak up, like, no. No, she's just as bad as they are. Because she went along with it. Disobeying the general, she came over and pulled out the tube attached to my arm.
She needs to recover and come back to her senses.
The side of the living room was almost completely back to normal. I still felt nauseous, but the headache was starting to subside a little. You stay where you are before I shoot you, bitch. You need to do some huge ass bullshit for me to actually forgive you for this. Because this man actually, while we are psychologically gone, this man is pointing his accusative finger at us. No!
I'll take her to her room.
No, you won't. You won't. My room felt cold. You can leave, bitch! Y'all, I'm about to murder someone. You can leave!
Careful.
Greg helped me lie down on the bed. Holding my head, I opened my eyes and looked at him. He seemed to be in no hurry to leave for some reason. Allow me to kick you a few times. You can leave.
Be honest with me. How did you know about the place where we found the symbol? Did Nick manage to tell you about it?
His question dashed any hope I had that the inhumane interrogation was over. Yeah. You already asked me that. I don't want to repeat myself, keep silent. I'm supposed to pay gems for this bitch? Are you kidding me? But to be honest, if I'm just trying to put myself into her shoes. Like, I already said everything there was to say about that situation. Like, I'm pissed as fuck. Like, don't talk to me. I'm trying to see this from her perspective. Right now, everyone she knew was gone. Now she finds herself with people that don't trust her, that aren't even trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, and that they would stoop to levels so low in order to get the answers they want without caring what happens to the person that they torture. And we are actually the one that lost the most right now. Everyone we knew and loved is gone, and we find ourselves with strangers that treat us like a prisoner and that they actually stoop so low to actually interrogate us with drugs. I would feel hurt. So do you not trust me at all? Why do you think I would care about Nick or the squad? All my attempts to find information beyond what you tell me are because I wanted to understand what happened to me.
What happened to him could affect any of us. That doesn't worry you.
What do you want to hear from me? That I felt sorry for Nick or that I did something to him? Greg shook his head and turned away. With every word I spoke, his face grew more and more disappointed.
I shouldn't have asked. I'll go.
Please, should I say that I'm sorry? No, you shouldn't. He even looks different now. I don't want to make him my enemy. Girl, he became your enemy if I have something to say about that. Because what he just pulled... I'm sorry. No, I'm not! It sounded dry, but Greg still stopped at the door.
Simona, people from our squad don't just disappear.
He turned back around, glaring at me as he came closer. I pressed myself back into the pillow without meaning to. Tall and undoubtedly strong, he looked imposing. Greg crouched down near the bed so that his eyes were level with mine. He always emanated warmth. Even now, as his eyes gave off a cold shine, it was still there working flawlessly. It melted the frost around him.
You don't quite understand the scale of the problem. You see us as enemies, and I can understand why.
Yeah, after what you pulled. Even more so, bitch.
But think about how we've had to live since those creatures came into the world.
But it's not my fault that they came into this world.
Creating a new base, assembling our squad. It wasn't easy for any of us. With the stakes as high as they are, we can't afford even one mistake.
He exhaled and ran his hands through his hair. It was strange to see someone so big and muscular hunched over like that.
He was like a brother to me.
But it's not my fault. I literally went to you and told you the truth, and you said you believed me, and now you're pointing your finger at me. I hesitated. I wasn't supposed to be compassionate, but I couldn't find the right words. Gently, I put my hand on his shoulder and gave it a squeeze. Greg chuckled at the awkwardness of my gesture. He took my hand and traced my knuckles with his finger, his head tilted to the side, thoughtful.
You're not even trying to understand.
I said nothing. Perhaps he was right.
Ever lost loved ones? Watch the spawn rip your friends apart right in front of you. Or have them disappear only to come back as one of the infected and try to tear you to pieces.
I did.
The way you say that, it's like you're sharing how you watered the flowers this morning.
Sir, I said it in the last episode, I think, already. If you see death so often, it doesn't really surprise you anymore. You soon have to be capable to get over death fast because you have to function, because people expect you to always function. You grow numb to a specific topic. So yes, it's nothing to her now.
I wonder, have you always been like this, cold, unemotional, and distant?
No. Have I? No. That got me thinking. Before I was filled with endless worries, but now they all seem so small. Greg wants to get more of your sincere feelings out of you. It seems he was somewhat successful. Images appeared before my eyes, of the playground near the house of my childhood, of Anna sitting across from me after the IV. What am I even talking to him about? Doesn't matter. With a bit of effort, I freed my hand and got out of bed. You can always give me another dose and find out whatever you want.
What? No, wait, that's not what I meant.
Yes, it is. Sir, you do it once, people expect you to do it twice. I'd like to be left alone if you don't mind. I turned him around and pushed him towards the door. Thank you, what you should have done the first second. Obediently, he walked forward. It was only once he was outside the room that he looked back at me. Don't be looking at me like that. You're fine. Like I said it so many times. I said it with Dimitri as well. Your fine ass beauty is not saving you in my eyes. I count the person. I value someone's personality, who they really are on the inside. If you are pulling something like this, no, you can't be trusted. Because if you did it once, if something isn't to your liking, you will try to do it again. And I'm not doing that. Don't be giving me that guilty face. From one side, I'm just trying to see all possible sides here. This man apparently lost so many people, and he is so pure-hearted that it doesn't matter how many people will be infected that are close to him and that mean the world to him. He will always feel something about that because he is that pure-hearted, but not everyone is capable to do that. Not everyone will keep their pure heart. There are people that actually get used to people dying around them and they grow numb. To the point that even if family members would die every single second in front of them, they wouldn't feel anything because of that, because they are used to it. They aren't shocked because of it anymore. And I'm just trying to understand why he reacted the way he did. Maybe he is like, yeah, I can't lose anyone else anymore. Like Nick was like a brother to me. I lost my friends because of those spawns. They turned into spawns, they tried to kill me, and I had to put them out of their misery, or I had to watch someone from the squad put them out of their misery. And I lost people that I loved so often, and it's very difficult for me to put myself out there and allow someone else to get into my heart again, because I don't want to suffer again. Now, I lost everyone, and Nick was like a brother to me. He was the only one left. Now, him dying or him going missing after you showed up, like, I need answers. Maybe he was acting like a douche because of desperation, because he was like, it can't be possible. Why always me? Why do I always have to lose everyone I love like I can't? There has to be some kind of explanation to this. There has to be a reason why I keep on being hurt like this through life. Like something, there needs to be a reason why things are going the way they are. Like someone needs to explain it to me. Why am I being shamed like this? There needs to be a reason. Like I want to understand. I need to understand. So maybe the desperation led him to actually go along with those drastic measures. But I still say that it was more the general saying you are doing this, and because of desperation, because maybe he doesn't know us that well, and Nick is more important to him right now than we are to him, because we just met, we just started to get along, we just started talking. He's like, I don't care, as long as I get the answers I need in order to keep the people that are in my heart safe. I don't care if I torture you. Doesn't excuse him in my book, but it could be his reasoning. The door closed and hid his guilty expression from me. See? I collapsed on the bed and tiredly turned to the wall. Sleep hadn't come easy that night. I was tormented by thoughts until the morning, at which point I gave up trying to sleep and got out of bed. I went out into the living room, waiting for CAIN to appear. The angel wasn't surprised when I asked to keep working on the translation right away. Anything to get out of there. What happened the day before sobered me up. It reminded me of my main goal. My trust in the squad had been lost. What they did felt like betrayal, even if I knew that they didn't owe me anything. I opened the book of the apocalypse and laid out the rest of my things beside it. From time to time, CAIN looked at me with interest. The lighting in the church was poor, it was freezing cold inside, and the furniture was uncomfortable too. The monks had done everything to make using their books completely intolerable. Although, if I were them, I probably would have done the same. Since I first woke up here, I hadn't had nearly the same energy, determination, and motivation as I did today. Immersed in my work, I felt dull echoes of the thrill I used to feel before. I took down notes in my notebook about the condition of the book. Surprisingly, it was in good shape despite the collapse. New cracks had formed on the cover, and there were red stains on the spreads. But otherwise, it was the same as I remembered it. I pulled a stack of books that CAIN had put together earlier closer to me. It looks like he's really trying to decipher the book, but he hasn't even glanced at it since I've been here. I leafed through the tattered and familiar volumes. There were new ones among them, taken from the monastery archive by CAIN. In some way or another, they all touched on a topic that had little to do with deciphering the book. At least that's what it felt like, or he knew where and what to look for. There are so many books about demons. What are they for? Personal purposes. I did say, no, y'all, he's an unknown. He has to be. He's like personal purposes, because I feel like I'm a demon. He's not in the mood to talk, but I need to learn as much as I can. It's pointless having him help me otherwise. Do you think there's anything about them in the book? Or maybe you saw the outline of a familiar name. Any information you have will help a lot.
Later, I can't understand a single letter of these texts.
But the book was written in heaven.
That's right.
The angel propped his head on his fist and turned toward me. Having gotten his attention, I sat down on a stack of tomes and clasped my hands in front of me. Since it's written in the language of the immortals, why can't you? Ahia or Pyle and just read it?
There are countless languages in heaven, dead ones as well forgotten and buried by time. Damn! And the book describes the fate of humans. That means it was always intended for you.
If I'm going to descript it, I'm going to need something to start with. If there is nothing like the book on Earth, then I'll need information from the immortals. I'll try a decryption method via one of the similar languages of the immortals, the history of, and mythology of heaven, artifacts of writing, maybe history. Many ancient languages were able to be deciphered after details about everyday life during those times were uncovered. If you tell me more about heaven, give me some details, it might help. Do any of these images look familiar?
I've never seen anything like these in heaven. As for everyday life, I can't say much about that either.
One of the similar languages of the immortals? Maybe these lines resemble some of the languages of heaven? At least remotely. Knowing something like that will help me match the characters.
For as long as the book has existed, none of the immortals ever found such similarities.
Artifacts of writing? People have deciphered obscure languages thanks to archaeology findings before. Maybe there are other books on Earth written by immortals? If I had something similar that you knew the translation of, descripting this would just be a matter of time.
I doubt it. Immortals are very possessive of their artifacts. Don't look at me that way. Humans getting the book is different. That was predetermined.
Something else. I exhaled, running my fingers through my hair. The answers had led me to a dead end, clarifying only minor details. I need to start from the beginning. What writing system does heaven use? Alphabetical, syllabic, or verbal syllabic?
Alphabetical.
Okay, at least I was right about that. I made a note in the notebook and stared aimlessly at the book again, thinking over my next step. Suddenly CAIN broke the silence.
How did you manage to decipher those numbers?
There's Latin text in the beginning of the book, and its title is also mentioned there. The line with them was parallel to one passage in Latin, so I compared them and used that to translate it.
What else do you know about the book?
I took a magnifying glass and flipped through the pages, checking every image and letter again down to the smallest strokes and misspellings. Occasionally I ran my finger over my scars, thought about what to say to CAIN. Explain in detail, girl. Explain in detail. The book has 2 sections and forward. One section is at least somewhat logical, the other not at all, as though this cipher is missing a couple of variables. The first section looks like a list of messages or parting words. I flipped over the relevant page and ran my finger along the lines. This looks so cute. Y'all, I'm feeling emotional just thinking that I just finished Heaven's Secret 2 not so long ago. I think it's been 2 months since the finale came out, and I had to replay it and everything. Like it was going down memory lane and everything. I just feel so emotional. I translated the numbers from there. I initially got my hands on the book through a friend. She gave it to me and asked me to figure out its secrets. All I was capable of reading were a couple of symbols, though. But this was enough for me to be invited to the base later on.
Where did your friend get the book?
I ask myself the same thing all the time. We all have that random friend, y'all. Come on now. But to be quite honest, I don't know if my bestie thinks that I'm the random friend because we're both quite random. I would have asked her myself, but we lost contact once the cataclysm started. The second section contains illustrations and descriptions of unknown objects, plants, and other things. This includes a section with a pentagram and a couple of pages of symbols that look like sigils. Seems like it could be an inventory, and the foreword is written in Latin.
Do you understand how it relates to the rest of the book?
Not really. Why are you here, sir? You're supposed to help here. There's only a little parable written here. Maybe it's a hint about the book's content, but I can't say for sure. It talks about some kind of other religion and the coming of a false prophet and the birth of a new god among people. I keep on saying the only god in Heaven's Secret is Malbonte in my eyes. Like, no Sifa Malum, Malbonte is the real god. He was the first one, I think, if I don't remember the story wrong. He was the first ever hybrid. The first one. He is the real god, because normally from what we were capable to figure out in the second book of Heaven's Secret, we were capable to figure out that not many people survived. As in the children that were born through an angel and a demon, normally they wouldn't survive because they were too powerful. Or to be quite honest, I wouldn't be surprised considering about what Sifa did to Malbonte, as in Malbonte being the first one to actually being strong enough to survive and to be the first ever hybrid. I wouldn't be surprised if Sifa tried to make the children out of angels and demons die. Because he is a god, and considering the fact that he hated the fact that people broke this man's rule of not mating between angels and demons, I wouldn't be surprised if Sifa said, yeah, I'm gonna kill the people that actually survived, But ignoring that, we found out in the second book of Heaven's Secret that normally people that were born through an angel and a demon, they normally didn't survive because they carried too much power inside of them. And Malbonte was the first person ever. He was the first immortal to ever survive. So this man is a god. Because after him, slowly others were capable to survive strangely. Like this man started the new species. He was the one that started the hybrid species. After him, others were capable to survive strangely. It's similar to how people have viewed the apocalypse before.
Not bad.
Your work at the base is starting to pay off. You're welcome. Out of habit, I skimmed over the fort that I had seen countless times before, looking over every line again. Huh? I grabbed the magnifying glass and aimed it at the small scribble at the end of the last line. This wasn't here before. Are you saying it's some... Oh, not Sifa. Yo, I just talked about Sifa. I did not want to read Sifa. But now to my thought, before I saw Sifa on the screen and started to freak out. Is this kind of course, a supernatural book, but is this a book where people write something in it, or people are capable to write in that book and that it somehow appears? I don't know how to explain it. There's an original book and then there are copies of the original book. And as soon as you change something in the original book, it automatically changes in the copies of the book. Is this a little easier to understand? Someone is writing, I don't know, hello in the original book, and in the copies of the book that have been scattered all over the world, that hello is written at the exact same spot. The glass showed a set of initials that could be read as Sifa. Hearing about my discovery, the angel suddenly appeared next to me. Hello, how's it going? You finally making an appearance. Thank you for being absolutely useless. Y'all, I feel like I'm shitting on this man. I don't know why, but you all know I need to. I have to. If I don't shit on someone, it's not me. Besides, this man hasn't tried anything with me yet, so I need to hate on this man a little.
I've studied it inside and out. There was nothing like that there before.
Well, I'm special, what can I say? He peered intensely at the spot I pointed to before turning to me with a condescending look. Not him being Y'all know how much I hate a man that thinks they are better than us.
What a joke.
What's wrong now, baby? What hatred do you feel for Sifa? CAIN pushed the book away in disappointment and went back. What's wrong?
There's nothing there. You pointed to an empty space.
Are we the only ones that can see it? No, I can clearly see the symbols. Sifa. CAIN pondered this. I think he noticed that I wasn't in a joking mood. Are we the only ones that can see it? Then his behavior shifted dramatically. He is a drama himself. He is dramatic. His eyes grew sharp with focus and all the fake, indulgent emotions left his face. Yeah, he sees we ain't kidding, so he's like, okay, what's going on here? This was how I had seen him the first time. Without the mask, he looked genuinely interested.
Amazing.
He came close and looked at me carefully. Not him thinking that we're an enigma that he needs to figure out now. CAIN, baby.
You might actually be able to translate the book. Which means there might be a way for me too.
Huh? So was I right? Were the comments right? Was he actually without at the base? But he died perhaps and he came into heaven and he decided to be an angel for God knows what reason, and then he came down to look after the survivors, hoping that we would be one of them, hoping that we would be one of the people that survived. His eyes glowed red, filled with anticipation and excitement.
I didn't think you were really capable of anything.
Wow, thanks, bitch. Let me smack you.
I was wrong.
Y'all, we know there are men that can do it with words, there are men that can't, and CAIN is literally the person that can't. Right now, I'm not having him.
What you see are symbols of Sifa, the god who created light and angels, but he was slain long ago by someone more powerful.
Ugh, plague. To be quite honest, that was the only time. I mean, I kind of was a plague stan, not kidding. I'm not kidding. I was a big stan, but after she tried to get at my man, I was like, she can leave. God is dead. And there's someone stronger than the creator?
The world is a little more complicated than it might seem. That's why we still exist.
It was hard to wrap my head around what I had just heard. I couldn't decide whether there was a clue in there or if it was all just dry facts. It is a dry fact. Sifa is dead, as he should, but Sifa Malim should have not taken this man's place. So the book was created by Sifa, whom humans may consider to be God. Then he disappeared into oblivion, and now we have no chance of finding out what's inside the book. I mean, you can read it, girl. Is there really nothing left of him? He dead.
I'm not sure. It so happens that I've not been in heaven for a long time. Could knowing about the world of immortals really help you?
Not this man with his look, I can't. Everything that brings me closer to you is something I want to know, babe. Of course.
Then it's worth asking Palian and Ania. They're knowledgeable about the recent events. I've a guess as to where they're patrolling today. Come on, let's not waste time.
I'm sorry, but this episode is long. After leaving the church, CAIN had been lost in thought, preoccupied with something. We managed to walk quite a bit when he suddenly stopped. He's so fine, y'all. I'm sorry, I can't. He has me on the chokehold, and I hate that as much as I love it. Like, hypnotize me, baby. Hypnotize me. Hit me.
It will take an incredibly long time to get there through the forest. We patrol places humans have trouble getting to.
No, I'm sorry, but he's a meme king. He's a meme king. Are we seeing his eyes?
Which is most places, really.
Oh, bitch, don't be so dramatic.
Flying there will be much faster.
Well then, take me. Let me jump on you. The wind blew and the feathers on his wings fluttered. I watched him silently, waiting to see what conclusion he would come to.
I'd rather carry you there.
Thank you. Thank you. I thank everyone that is coming to my funeral next week.
Just please spare me the complaints about being scared of heights and such.
Oh, bitch, you are blushing. You want me wrapped around your waist. You want me to hang on to you. Okay, then let's go.
You're not afraid? I
just love it so much. Bitch, you are literally there. You're literally here in front of me. Like, I look at your face and the only thing that I have to worry about is you actually feeling that I'm wet for you. That's the only thing I need to be worrying about. I mean, for the people that are kind of like shy, I wouldn't care. Like, I'm simping over this man wholeheartedly over the entire course of this story. I'm not ashamed of anything. Like, You can be ashamed, you can be scared all you want. I'm living my best life. No, I'm not afraid. Like, you are literally there.
You're not afraid?
It wasn't that I was unafraid. The fear was just eclipsed by pleasant anticipation for this new experience. And I'd always had a soft spot for the unknown.
Don't worry, I'll hold you tight.
That's what I want, sir. CAIN took me in his arms and my breath hit. Sorry. I had a vague feeling that my body wouldn't take its first flight lightly. The angel unfolded his wings and pushed off from the ground, raising a huge column of snow. With a single powerful flap, we shot up into the sky. This man. An unimaginable, huge overcast sky that stretched out all around us. Snow was flying into my face and stinging my cheeks, but I didn't care. Majestic white wings lifted us higher with each flap. It's hard to breathe up here. Well, then just don't breathe. Sorry. Like, girl, just, I don't know. If there's too much wind, you just turn around, as in you turn your head towards the opposite side. Like, just lean close to this man's neck or something. Like, hang on to this man's neck. Turn your face towards this man's upper body. CAIN looked like he wanted to say something, but then changed his mind. Instead, he flew faster. Strange. Ask what's wrong. Baby, is there something you want to, like... Is there something you want to tell me? Did you want to say something? This man gives off the feeling that he literally can't express himself, as in literally. I have the feeling this man is worse than my Bonte at this. Worse. Did you want to say something?
I find it curious how suddenly you got started with the book again.
Sir, what can I tell you? Everything is better than being locked up with Dimitri.
But the general give you some great incentive to push yourself,
No, this man just drugged me. Yeah. Were you there?
I had the pleasure of standing guard on the roof.
He's not having it, y'all. He's not having it. That's why this bitch is my favorite. This man is not having it. He was actually like, I had the pleasure of being on guard duty. I had the pleasure of being on the roof. Because they knew that I would not be standing up for all this bullshit that they pulled down there. They put me on the roof. They put me on guard duty so that I wouldn't be there. And I hate the fact that they didn't allow me to be there. I could have saved you from so much pain. Look at this man's face. He's not having it. It doesn't matter. Let's not talk about this.
I can understand you.
You can?
But the squad can't.
And why can you understand me and they can't? What makes you different than they are? Y'all, like, I'm simping over this man, of course, but I also said this in Heaven's Secret too, in season 3, when Malbonte finally came over to the good side again, as in to us, and was like, let's kill the mother of life. It's not really that I want answers, I just don't want people to lie to me blandly. If you have a plan or something, you don't have to tell me what it is. Just tell me, yeah, I have a plan, but I can't tell you about it. But don't be pretending all nonchalant. Oh, nothing is going on, don't worry, and then I have to figure it out later on. Just don't lie to me.
They're afraid because they have something to lose. And that's fine.
This man is blushing, y'all.
But it's different with me. I can be on your side.
You're the only one I want, sir. You're the only one I want. But that's my question for you now. Why do you want to be on my side? He's like, I can't be on your side. Why do you want to be? Because this man doesn't seem to be close to anyone. Why does he want to be on our side?
I can understand and accept your feelings.
The feelings I have about those bitches or the feelings I have for you? Because right now I'm conflicted between huge ass desire or just hot love because you literally make me hot and bothered every time I see you. He beat his wings again and severed us around a cold, snowy gust of wind.
Considering I'm not human, this is pretty funny.
For you, of course it is! But you get to play Prince Charming. Lucky you. CAIN's words confused me. He was an angel beyond human understanding, and I was an ordinary mortal. We weren't at all equals. I would have expected to hear something like this from another human, like Anna, maybe. But CAIN? That's something that I want to put out there. I've said it so many times, and I will always keep on saying it. Do not judge a book by its cover. This is literally like people judging... I don't know, I'm just gonna use the more obvious thing. A lot of people, like, because of Pride Month and everything, like, a lot of people say it's getting out of hand, etc. Like, this is just people from the LGBTQ community saying that they don't understand how someone can be straight. Just to put it like this, like, everyone knows I'm watching BLs, I'm thriving BLs. Everyone knows already how I am. Like, I'm just gonna put it out there because I am that straightforward, alright? Like, this is literally how it is. She's like, yeah, I would expect a human to understand a human, but not an angel to understand a human. Just because I'm different doesn't mean that I can't understand you. Like, now putting this on to humans. Just because someone hasn't really gone through what you've experienced doesn't mean that they sadly didn't have to learn that sad truth or that horrible realization that you got after you fell hard themselves in another way. Like, just because at first sight you think that that person can't understand you because they seem all happy and mighty doesn't mean that deep down they aren't dying. All has to do with maintaining appearances. Sadly, people do not care nowadays if you're psychologically ill. They think you're just weak. They think that you are pretending. People don't care. They think that you saying that you're psychologically ill is you just trying to make up stories because you don't want to work or you can't accept reality. People don't actually believe that psychological problems are a thing. And this is the sad reality. Like, she's like, I would have expected Anna to understand me because she's human. Yeah, so? Just because he isn't human doesn't mean that he can't understand you. He's just a living individual, just like everyone else. This was just like when we slowly got to know the horsemen, and we were like, yeah, we are humans, or more like our character, because we were a former human. Like, the horsemen can't feel other emotions because that would mean that they are imperfect in the eyes of the mother of life, okay? But every single horseman, they said, yeah, I want to experience love. I want to experience those feelings. Like, just because at first sight it doesn't seem that I am similar to you doesn't mean that I'm not. I couldn't trust him, and perhaps I shouldn't. Yes, you should. If I have something to say about this... He's like the only person that didn't stab us in the back.
Misunderstanding, fear. You hesitate trying to figure out who you can trust.
Sir, can you read minds?
And you can accurately determine who's your friend and who's your enemy.
Sir, have you seen what these bitches put me through? Have you seen what they put me through? To be quite honest, I have been shitting a little on the main character. And I had it with one of my friends in the comments section where she's like, I'm being a little too hard on her. In my eyes, it's a little difficult to understand where she's coming from. And I explained it in that comment as well, where I said, yes, she has amnesia, but it's amnesia from 3 years, okay? But now if I would translate this onto me, I changed in 2 years so drastically that I shouldn't say anything. Like, psychological pain can actually change you a lot. It can change you into a completely different person. If you guys want me to, I can actually do a video on that explaining what I mean with that. But for this video, I'm gonna keep it short. Psychological pain, depending on how deep that pain is, and how much it has traumatized you, it can actually turn you into a completely different person. She lost the memories because of her amnesia from 3 years. So, considering the fact that it didn't seem that she actually had psychological problems, to me, it was not really understandable that she's being all that shy and awkward when we can see that she actually has like a rather strong personality. Sometimes she's not really doing much in my eyes, but there are things that take time, especially like just seeing someone much stronger than us, much taller than us, and that person actually has a say. Like, I don't know, yeah, Dimitri, that little bitch, has actually the capabilities of calling someone in his office and putting us in chains. He's actually the leader of that goddamn place. So he has connections, he has power, and that's intimidating. For me, considering the fact that I know that Dimitri is a love interest, I'm just saying this man can get lost. But when we like see this from her point of view, maybe there are people that still intimidate her. Like, just because of their stance. Like, there are people that have, like, the strong stance. I'm one of these people, actually. I thought I'm completely normal, but a few of my friends told me that in the past. Like, seeing my stance, they would never think that I'm, like, this humorful, this pure-hearted and everything. I actually give off the vibe of a really... I don't want to say bad person, but yes, bad person. I give off the vibes as someone that just says, don't talk to me, I'm better than you. As in this huge ass arrogance. And there are people that have that. And in my eyes, Dimitri actually has that too. Considering the fact that I've seen my fair share of horrible people that actually manipulate you, psychologically torment you. I've had it with people like that, so I can immediately snap back. I'm like, I got nothing to lose. And the fact that the main character also is like, yeah, I didn't want to be here in the first place, like what you want. And then she's like immediately shying back into a corner. That's a reaction I can't really understand. But it could be logical. There are times where you feel a little more sure of yourself, and there are times where you just insanely shy and awkward. And the fact that she has amnesia and can't remember a lot of things, and she finds herself in a place lonely where she won't know that the person that she gives a little bit of trust betrays her, it could be completely normal. It's completely normal that she's a little more insecure, a little more shy and awkward. It's completely normal. So like, I love the main character. Like, for people that actually doubt it, I love her. She is great. What are you getting at?
We can help each other.
Help how? And why would you want to help me? That. How?
If you can truly translate the book, I can protect you.
But why would you want to protect me? That's something I don't understand. I fell silent, not expecting to hear something so strange. There were a lot of things I wanted to ask him, but I managed to force out just one question, the one that bothered me the most. What if the threat comes from the squad?
It doesn't matter where it comes from. Is that clear enough for you?
Like I said, this man is my man. I claim dibs on this ass. I claim dibs on his ass, y'all. Fight me. He flapped his wings again, and on instinct, my fingers clenched on his jacket.
I'm holding you tight enough.
CAIN held me even closer, emphasizing his words. Your movements are so sudden that I'm more scared of falling upwards than down.
And how should I carry you? Just because the sky appears empty from below, it doesn't mean that's actually the case.
I'm okay. I'm holding on. It's fine, you don't have to change, but yes, you do. Hold my ass. He closed his wings again, darting around another frosty gust of wind as I grabbed onto him with renewed vigor.
All around my neck, otherwise he'll rip my jacket.
And we don't want him to be shirtless, right? Wink, wink. I did as he asked.
You agreed to the flying pretty eagerly back there. I thought you'd like it.
I'd feel safer if I had my own wings. To be honest.
Then you wouldn't be able to fly like this.
Very true, considering the fact we're inexperienced bitches. Why not? Because you're inexperienced. You've never had wings before. You never flew.
Every pair of wings is different, as are the abilities of the owner.
And what can you do that's so special? Besides the fact of literally melting even ice?
Let me show you.
Please show me, baby.
Hold on tight.
You don't have to ask me twice. But don't wonder if my hands wander on your ass. Don't be surprised if my hands are wandering, sir. Like, I want to grab your ass so badly. Oh my god. You asked for it, girl. Now silence. His huge wings moved with such force that it sounded like thunder. The air currents parted around us, and CAIN soared higher with incredible speed. I clung to the angel's neck without opening my eyes. He leaned in and whispered into my ear so that I could hear his voice over the wind.
Look.
I can't! This man! Opening my eyes, I looked at him. He peered at me with interest and then smiled faintly. This man! Marry me! No, to be quite honest, like if we see the scene back there with the people actually drugging us and this man giving us this warm smile and being like, you don't have to look at me like that. I will protect you and everything. He's the man. Where has he been all my life?
Not on me.
Yes, at you. I turned toward the wind and through the rustling of my hair saw an incredible view. We had risen far above the horizon. The sun's glare cast a fantastical glow, and everything below us had become small and insignificant. After flying a little longer at that height, I started to freeze and CAIN had to descend. I watched in fascination as he flew over huge forests.
We're almost there.
Suddenly, I felt a burning sensation on the spot where CAIN held my legs. Like a piece of hot coal was shoved under my knee. What? Oh God. Oh no. What's wrong, sir? Not his eyes burning red though, and he has this very angry expression as he's like, oh no, I'm about to turn back into human or something.
What terrible timing.
The angel abruptly stopped and glanced around. The satisfaction tightened his face, and I guessed he couldn't find what he was looking for. What's going on? Without answering, he suddenly folded his wings and we rushed down. We're falling, CAIN! Oh my god! What's going on? Oh no, y'all. Is he actually human? What is going on? Not his face, though. Y'all, I'm so in love with this man. I'm so in love with this man. I can't see him like this. Please don't look at me like this.
Come on, just a little longer.
We were falling together, and then the angel suddenly disappeared. He vanished without a trace. What is going on? Has the devil summoned him back to hell? What is this? What is going on? No, but this man actually saying, oh no, not now, please a little longer, because he knew he would disappear into thin air and we would be falling down. Oh no. Oh no, y'all, he got summoned by the devil. He's like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? I didn't call you. I didn't tell you to go down there to actually flirt with her. Oh, y'all, I have so many theories now. Is this man actually, how do I say this kindly without actually shocking you all with my fantasies? Is this man actually an abomination? It would make sense. He's like, not now, he's an abomination. Him disappearing would be the only way for him not to actually show that he has another facade, leaving me hurling toward the ground at breakneck speed, unable to breathe, unable to think about anything other than the approaching tops of the fir trees, snowy white. I was going to get impaled on the top of the tree, and then the black crows would pick my body to shreds. Is this how I die? There was about 60 feet or so left to hit the ground, then 30, 15. The beating of wings sounded nearby, coming to my rescue. Oh my god. Sir, you've got some splendid to do. Who are you? At this point, who are you? The angel caught me just before I hit the ground, and he put me back on my feet, holding carefully me by the waist. To be quite honest, I would just kiss him. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. Finest man CAIN did everything to return just in time to save you. This man, he's such a fine-ass man. He is sassy. He is such a sass queen. He's arrogant. He is thoughtful. He is caring. He is charming. Come on now. He's seductive. And he also has rage issues. He is very protective. This man is perfect. He's everything. He's everything I need. Relief appeared on his face. I can't. This man actually was like, oh, thank God I was capable to save her. No. This man, marry me. Oh my God, marry me. Oh God, no, God, no. Oh God, oh God. Like I said, I just love to actually make the demeanor of an indifferent man crackle. You all know there are wild beasts underneath. It's the silent ones you need to look out for. Relief appeared on his face, which he immediately hid behind a mask of indifference. Sir, it's too late, I already saw it. And all this after saying he'd protect me? I mean, that's not his fault. My legs trembled from the tension, and I fell onto the snow, unable to fold myself up anymore. What was that about? Where did you go? You got teleported back to hell? Oh my God.
This happens from time to time.
Why? What exactly? Dropping your passengers? No, girl. No, let's not be like this. No, him actually just disappearing into thin air. His face. He's like,
You're the first person I've taken into the sky with me.
Stop making me feel special, sir. I'm about to die. Abruptly, CAIN turned and looked out into the forest. Then, moving very slightly, he pulled me toward him. A shot rang out. Excuse me. The bullet passed very close to me and hit a nearby tree trunk. This man saving us the entire time, protecting us. He's doing what he promised. Technically, he is. I mean, of course, like, I would be a little pissed too, to be quite honest. Like, we're up in the sky that high where airplanes are, and then he suddenly disappears and we fall in like 5-second difference before we actually hit the ground and die. This man suddenly appears in front of us and saves us. Like, I would be pissed too. But technically, he is doing what he promised. He said he would protect us from everything and everyone, not caring who is threatening him. He's like, I will protect you. And technically he did. He saved us before we fell. Even though it was his fault we fell. But like I said, not his fault. He said it happens from time to time. He could have also remained completely silent and not say anything. But he was like, it happens from time to time. He saved us before we hit the ground. And he saved us from that bullet. The impact showered me with wood chips. On the other side of the snowing clearing, something stirred in the bushes. A young man came out of his hiding spot. He ran his fingers through his golden hair, brushing stray locks away from his forehead. Who are you?
I never thought I'd see someone fall from the sky.
Huh?
Apologies for the shot. It was my mistake.
It would have also been your mistake. Like, I would have been dead. It wouldn't have mattered.
I was tracking a brown hair around here and simply reacted to seeing his movements.
The man not only stood out against the backdrop of the winter forest, but he seemed pretty mismatched to his surroundings in general. Like an aristocrat unused to controlling his impulses, he wore a heavy ring and an expensive coat with fur inserts. They seemed strangely familiar to me.
I'm glad I was able to help you out today.
So I wasn't imagining things then. Oh, he was the one that saved us! Right, he was the one that told that old man to shove it. CAIN offered me his hand and I pulled myself up. The man slung the gun over his shoulder and came closer.
I haven't had the chance to stop by and ask, how do you like my state?
Yours? He pissed. He's like, I don't like the way that this is going. He's like, he's moving on to my girl. I need to put up the fences. Look! Smiling charmingly, the man extended his hand. He's like, you saved her?
Alright, I completely forgot to introduce myself. Boris Ramonov. Nice to meet you.
What? Yo, what can I say? I'm gonna call this trouble in paradise. We could see that CAIN was not enthusiastic at all by seeing this fine-ass man holding out his hand. But CAIN is number one for me. He actually is. I just love to see this man jealous. Everything that shows that this man cares about us and that we were capable to get under his skin, I'm all here for it. But we will see what happens. I hope you enjoyed this video with me. Tell me in the comments below what you think was best, and I will see you in another video. Bye.